It's the next day. Time for court stuff. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show to the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio One of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well, I would like to move on to some testimony. Yeah, Maya and Phoenix? Yeah, I don't know, I don't know if it's a good ship. Considering, probably the canon ship would have been Phoenix and his boss, Mia, but Mia's dead, so it's kind of awkward. Anyway. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Good old Gumshoe. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the mornings here. This is the main gate to the studios. This security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 o'clock p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 o'clock p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jumping ahead to later that day, 5 o'clock p.m., the production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. Due to murder. Oh no. You know, that hole is quite clean. I guess his abs, those are that's just a costume, right? So, Anyway, the time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear were found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Let me double check something. Autopsy. Pierced to the chest by a spear. I guess maybe it is a spear? I don't know. It's quite clean. It's such a clean wound. So I think even Phoenix said that there should have been more bloodstains, but there isn't. Anyone would like to hear that again? Should I listen to the whole thing again? I don't think we need to. I think I got it. I think I get the general idea. Can probably remember that, hopefully. You probably need to remember that, you know? So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Okay, samurai spear. Your Honor, the case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call this security officer to the stand. Will the witness declare her name? Okay.
My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered.
Your name, please.
Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma.
Your name, please. And I think, yeah, his little, his eyes twitching there. I mentioned that before, but I think it is, new. In the original game, his eyes didn't vibrate like that. So nice little touch. Even though, it does look different, all the sprites and everything. It's more drawn in rather than pixel art. I don't know how I feel about that, but I think it's fine. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names.
Wendy Oldbeg, dearie. So just call me Grandma. So even when I was young, I was old back. So I had to join up with make fun of you just because of my name. Can you believe it? But there was this boy, the captain of the chess guy. What did he call me an old back? Which is Grandma guy. Had question.
Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. Yeah, you like the art here, Pencho? Yeah, I mean, I think it's serviceable. You know, I do have I guess nostalgia goggles for like pixel art and stuff. I do like pixel art, but it's okay. I don't mind. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Now perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you.
You know your stuff, dearie.
You may begin your testimony. He sure is one hell of an old bag. Alright.
On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 o'clock p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest has been doing a run-throughs there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 o'clock p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading toward the studio.
You saw the defendant then? Very well, let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Were you? So up until that time, anyone who wanted to go into the studio? Well, there wasn't a security guard at the gate, no. But the main gate was locked, dearie. You'd need an employee card key to get in. Right, the card key that I have. So what she's saying is that no one who wasn't supposed to be there could get in. Was there anyone else when you arrived? Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through there since the morning. A run-through? They were working out a scene between the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. They got the basics figured out by noon, and would use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5. Oh, that's why poor old Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon. So Powers was in his dressing room sleeping when he was supposed to be practicing. Talk about a laid-back hero. If there was a run-through this morning, why did you only get there afternoon? Had some errands to run that morning? What errands? What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. Well, actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know. Observing? Aren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs, always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through too. You could quit being a spirit medium, take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. You know, it'd probably be a more stable paycheck. You know, considering I don't know how much he gets paid for being a spirit medium. 1 o'clock. Did you see the victim then? Did I see poor old Hammer? No. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station. Tell us what happened next. Until 5. So you were watching the whole time? No breaks? Not even a second? Of course! I'm a professional, you know! Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper? No, it's just after seeing you eating those donuts in the guard station yesterday. I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time. Or a snipper-wapper. Snipper-wapper? Old Windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't I raise an objection? Okay, it was no deal for the afternoon the whole time, very well. What did you see? 2:30. Okay. How did you know that? Oh, ho, ho. I have my ways. That overdressed young detective told me. I fed him some donuts and he talked and talked. If you ask me, the detective isn't cut out for his job. Poor Detective Gumshoe, getting ratted out by a security guard. Certain man, welcome right pie. 2 o'clock, you're sure? Sure as spit. Well, who was the man? Really? Should not try to get so excited at your age, you might strain something. Now, don't get your skivvies all in a bunch, I'll tell you who it was. Name was Powers. So you saw Mr. Powers? That's what I said, go wax in your ears, sonny. Well, Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to put out the secret weapon. I'll say it again, it was him. Oh yeah, I mean the biggest thing we just learned recently that apparently this is what she saw, supposedly, the photo. But I mean, this isn't really Powers, is it? It's just the Steel Samurai, as far as we know. So it's not like hard evidence that Will Powers walked by the entrance, you know, at that time. So let's see. Let me get this straight, old bag, or Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just wait a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? Well, none other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Old Tokyo. Miss Old Bag. Is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course. Didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss Witness. He's having trouble calling him her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? even Edgeworth is surprised? The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please, make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I supposed to know everyone would be so noisy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't as good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Well, let's hear about your proof then. Okay. I never said anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his legs, see? Clear as day. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, why does it seem like he's not... Like, it's not the costume is not fitted properly. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had a sprain in his ankle. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Well, it's kind of an assumption, though. I don't know. It's not really evidence. The fact that he sprained his ankle, it's like circumstantial evidence, I'd say. She gotta be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Okay. Whippersnapper! I haven't said anything yet. If you know it, I'm pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow. Up and up! Youth today! Blah, blah, blah.
Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness.
I think Edgeworth has met his match. Okay. Who was present at the run-through? Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's a steel samurai, then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate, and me.
What exactly were you doing?
Observing, just observing. What about the assistant? Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such. Well, she didn't see the run-through then. So she wasn't there. Trip and fall. Yes, to think he's supposed to be the steel samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course.
You helped make it better?
I kissed it where it hurt.
Oh, let's just get over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant?
Oh, she was cleaning up the backdrops, okay. She didn't know about Power's ankle. Interesting.
You may continue.
He broke a prop. Sure did, his own samurai spear. His samurai spear, the murder weapon. Luckily I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I better write this down in the court record. Okay, interesting. Murder weapon? Yeah, I guess we can see there's a bit of duct tape right there. I thought that was part of the... I mean, that was part of the design, but actually it's put on after the fact. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he can walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Oh, that's a nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot, okay.
I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is? Where is this steel samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the steel samurai, yes. It is clear that the person in the steel samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right.
Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? I mean, it's a big assumption, so... Hold it right there. We keep talking about possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the steel samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers.
The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on the camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider the possibility also. Allow me to remove your doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please?
No need to ask twice. Okay, more testimony.
The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true?
The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them.
So, if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be this steel samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Okay. How do you know that? Didn't I just explain? Yeah, we already did explain. Give donuts to Gumshoe. Secret, pal. Let's see, you have Gumshoe share his fellow officers, follow his fellow officers for donuts. Okay. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. Nobody suspicious looking. Right. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before 1 o'clock? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention... You would have seen them? Are you sure?
The witnesses answered the question. Anyone going to the studio had to pass by the witness.
Well, that's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy.
Edgy boy.
Old windbag sure has balls, or, well, you know what I mean. Old windbags have a way of skipping over important details after all. Or for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Well, something for you to look forward to, perhaps. A time of, What do we do? Actually, I'm not sure. All I saw before then was... The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. What's the contradiction? It seems like we need to find a contradiction, right? You would have seen them. No one else went there. Okay, I'm a bit stuck, actually. The only person I saw go to this studio before then was Will Powers. What does he say? Are you absolutely sure? I don't know. I mean, only person I saw go to sleep before then was Will Powers. I'm a bit confused here. I don't know what I'm supposed to prove. The only thing I can think of is the fact that she says she saw Will Powers, but then again, didn't we already say that what we saw in this photo, for example, isn't really Will Powers, it's just Steel Samurai, right? I don't know. I think I might be wrong, but let's see. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sir, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right, anyway. It's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, actually, I didn't really understand it. And I think, yeah, now I get it. Again, I played this game before, but I don't remember all the solutions. But I think what Phoenix is getting at is this number right here. She's saying this person, that Steel Samurai, is the only person that went to the studio, but this says number 2, right? That makes no sense. Oh, you know, if you wanted to look at the studio, we might have an opening. Well, that very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words October 15, 2 o'clock p.m., photo number 2. Even I know what that means. It was taken at 2 o'clock p.m. October 15. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Yeah, I didn't really catch that when I presented it, but I guess yeah, it makes sense now.
Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright.
Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not one, but two people went to the studio that day. Yet there's only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself. You watch your mouth, you whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by, at least. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
You don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, how?
Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either.
Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Oh, she's even betrayed Edgy boy. Whippersnapper.
Something the matter, Miss Oldbag?
Ah, that's right. I just remembered something.
Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate? Someone other than the Steel Samurai?
Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. Now she remembers something new.
I see. Your testimony, please. Okay?
Who's this other person, Miss Oldbag? Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on a security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that are suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day.
Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've ever heard of this.
Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it.
Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, begin the cross-examination.
Well, I say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Quite unreliable, this witness.
Another job?
That's right, I check all the people that passed by the main gate that day. I look closely at every one of the photos the security camera takes.
Do you back all of the security camera data?
Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating.
How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking?
Oh, you can tell just by looking at their faces for the most part.
For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag.
Well, I did touch that suspicious looking Willpower's photo, did I?
I think she's missing the point.
Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo. Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? A fanboy.
Fanboy?
Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. What was there that day?
Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words.
Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and? They're kids, children, whippersnappers.
Kids?
So, on the photo that you erased? It was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade.
What?
Well, that rules out our suspect. You know, we were relying on the fact that there was another person that went through the studio, so we can pin it on someone else other than Will Powers. However, if it's just a kid, it's very unlikely that they would have murdered, you know, the victim. Well, then again, it's not like kids wouldn't be able to murder, it's a possibility, but...
Well, let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was a Steel Samurai dragging his leg, the other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade.
Oh yes, well we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him.
A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield a samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Well, yes, yeah. Other than the fact that they're just a kid, you know, how would they murder them with just a spear, I guess. That's the logic they're going with.
Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data.
Nick,
What's going on? I mean, the boy was there, that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him.
This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time.
Okay.
Mr. Powers?
Yes?
Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio.
I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest.
So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo?
How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really.
What? You should take better care of that stuff.
I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So where does that leave me?
Well, it doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now.
Nick,
well, what are we gonna do? Well, first, we play for more time. I'm gonna stall them. We'll start targeting someone else that could have conceivably have done this.
Right.
And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose in the spot.
You don't sound very optimistic.
I'm not optimistic at all, actually.
Hey Nick, it's time.
Okay, let's go.
What else? What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that.
I gotta sigh.
Gotta release the tension with a sigh. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studio was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there's still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your thoughts?
The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim.
There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let's hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized.
Uh-oh. Right, great, as if the stakes weren't high enough.
So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder?
Assistant... That's impossible, I feel like. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. What are we trying to prove? We're trying to prove that there could have been another person that could have killed the victim. They could have wielded the spear, and could have went to the studio. 1 to 2:30. We could blame the boy. I mean, the boy could be a suspect, but what Edgeworth and the judge was saying, he could have, at the very least, it's very unlikely he would have killed the victim because he wouldn't be able to wield the spear. Murder weapon, breaking the shaft. Old bag? Nah, if it was old bag, I don't know. I mean, assuming she lied about everything, you know, and that photo, she could have been the one because there was no witness for her, and the camera, I guess, is automatic, but she could also erase that technically because she's a security guard, right? I mean, this is like a crack theory, but like maybe there was a third photo, you know, and it was of a photo of her, right? And she went in and she killed the victim, and then she came back, deleted the third photo, and said whatever she wanted, right? Assumedly. Assistant girl, though, is quite unlikely. I don't know.
I feel like anyway. We don't have much information on her, but there's no photo of her unless she wore the costume, maybe? And then again, looking at the photo, I don't know, dragging his feet. I don't know. Well, we're just playing for time, right? We're bluffing. So maybe we can blame the old bag? Maybe? I don't know, this might be wrong actually. I'm thinking like, you know, again, she's the only like witness, but at the same time, because she's the only witness, there's no witnesses for her own alibi, right? I assume. I'm gonna say it. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The steel samurai's dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about the morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There's only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. I guess so. What? Whippersnapper! But maybe my crack theory doesn't make sense. I guess it's the fact that who could have been in that costume? I guess it could have been Oldbag only, really. Again, it wouldn't be the assistant because she didn't know about the injury or anything, so why would she be dragging her leg? But I'm thinking like, you know... Are they really dragging their leg, or... I guess they are. They're also short, by the way. It's like, the thing is not reaching all the way, so... The little, like, what do you call it? Hakama? Or maybe that. Maybe I'm making that up. It's not called Hakama, but like... The costume itself is like... It's too big for the person wearing it, you know? I don't know. Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you. Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. Yeah, okay, that's what I was getting at when I was talking about before. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume, then slip into Studio 1 to scene the murder. Why would she go through the trouble wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes too, baby. Well, that's odd. Is this part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What was that supposed to mean? Oh, so you think I did it? Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something! What's my move? Maybe it's not my chance to take this the whole way. Is she the killer though? We're kind of bluffing, really. I don't know, I actually don't know. We're assuming if we press further, we're probably going to show some proof, but we don't really have proof that she killed the victim, really. It's just conjecture at this point. But we're buying time, aren't we? So... The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's action on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive, too. Indeed. That did it. Now windbags on the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. Or about the other person who went to the studio? The boy, the one whose photo I erased. Oh, he's only a grade schooler, though. As you said, 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could have been an old man in 10 seconds, tops. Really? Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? Well, that boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Or is it be nice to the kids and mean to your elders, they whippersnapper? I have proof. Proof?
Indeed. Let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder?
I was thinking the photo, but then again, the boy was a different photo, right? Because I was thinking like, you know, this boy can't fit in the costume. He's way too small, I assume. But that's assuming that he's in the costume, but rather he probably has his own, you know, photo that we don't see. So maybe... Well, actually, I'm looking at it right now. Right here. Car key for studio employees, grants entry to studio on. He wasn't, like, other than the fact that he couldn't have held the samurai spear, that's kind of like, you know, that's soft evidence, I feel like. We don't know for sure. He might be a second, third grader bodybuilder, who knows? But I think hard evidence is the fact that he doesn't have his own card, he can't really get in, right? So I think this is the correct answer. Well, the scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key?
I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this?
The windbag, speechless. This gotta be a first.
Very well. The court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name?
There's something old bag, Your Honor.
Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Oh, wait a second. I'm not gonna sit here while you're off barking up the wrong tree. Me? I'm talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk.
Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about? By whom?
Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth? Yeah, usually it's Edgeworth that tells the witness not to talk about something, but it's not Edgeworth this time.
Well, testify. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder.
They said they had nothing to do with it, you see. So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're gonna go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Well, ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. Well, no, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Okay. Well, she was told not to tell us something. Well, what is it? Exactly. Like, who were the people? Like, who else was there? So you were told not to talk?
That's right. By the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less. Why didn't I hear about this?
Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. Other people, hmm?
Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer for starters.
The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director?
Of course. Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2?
There was a Studio 2? Yeah, there was. See? Like, right here. Right here, see? Studio 2. Woo! Well, if you look at the guide map... Oh, okay. They show us anyway. Here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was falling over.
Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination?
I think I already asked all my questions, but... Actually, I want to ask more. Like, they have nothing to do with this, see? So... Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder. I know that, silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. So you got your bonus and you still talked. I wanna see more. I guess we don't have to. This is optional, but... So they were actually in the studio. Yes, the whole day. When they heard about the murder, they beat it before the cops came.
I'll kill this woman, I swear it.
I feel sorry for Edgeworth almost. She really left him hanging on this one. Them. Who are these people? Director and producer. Okay, sure, you said that already. So, we have two more suspects. Director and producer. They were at the lunch employee area, and they also went to Studio 2 afterwards, right? Who are these people? I guess we have to find out. Dang, we already seen all this. Yeah, we're done for now. Your Honor, we have learned there were others at the Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and then some bigwigs were all present. Yet as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers.
The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we've just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Oh. We survived another day. Once more. We learned about new suspects as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Oh, really? It's nothing. Oh, or should I... Oh, we'll be going down to the studio to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that steel samurai costume? Could it really have been Oldbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers?
I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit and take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Oh, poor old Windbag. I feel kinda sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's go down to the studios. Right, we'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Right. We have to do more investigating. Investigating.